Hello everyone, I'm Maddie and welcome back to my channel. Today I've come to the bee zone at Wildwood in Kent. Now lots of you will already know that my mum and I keep one hive, but here at Wildwood they have 28 beehives and they're all looked after by a beekeeper who is fondly known as John the Bee.
John the Bee, yes. Right.
Officially changed your name?
Yeah, no, I don't know. They've always called me John the Bee.
But 28 hives means that there are a lot of bees buzzing around. Take a look at this. There are so many! In fact, in the height of the summer between late June and early July, there could be as many as 1 million bees living in just this small area.
Beginning in July, it's well over 1 million.
Whoa! 1 million bees! And for some people, that's actually pretty scary. So what's the first thing you think about when you see a single bee flying around your garden? Because for lots of us, is it going to sting me? And bee stings can be quite painful, so it's only natural to think like that. But today I'm going behind the scenes of the bee zone to hopefully help explain why most of the time bees are nothing to be frightened of, because trust me, a honeybee really doesn't want to sting you. All the female workers inside this hive have stingers on, for want of a better word, their bum, and they're really tiny, but these girls are far too busy bringing pollen back to the hive to stop and show us. So instead I'm going to use a model to explain how a stinger works. This is my DIY honeybee stinger to help me explain. The stinger part is a hollow tube with a pointy end that can pierce the skin, but on the outside of the stinger we have these. They're called barbs, little hooks that have points that go in the opposite direction to the stinger. And this is how they work. So when the stinger pierces the skin like this, I'm going to use a leaf as the skin, the barbs work like fish hooks and they snag on the skin, which stops the stinger being able to slide back out again. It's stuck. But it's not just the teeny tiny stab that causes the pain of a bee sting. Inside the bee's body, connected to the hollow tube of the stinger, is a venom sac, and this contains a mixture of chemicals called apitoxin. When the stinger is firmly stuck in your skin, the bee will squeeze the venom sac, and this injects a small amount of the apitoxin under your skin. It's only the tiniest drop, because there isn't that much room for more inside the bee's body, but it's enough to hurt, itch, and cause the sting to swell up. Now I should mention that some people are allergic to the chemicals in a bee sting, and a sting could cause them a nasty allergic reaction, and they should go to a doctor straight away. But most of the time, things are usually much worse for the bee that did the stinging. Remember these barbs on the stinger? They stop the stinger being able to slide out easily. And on the end of the hollow tube, you have the poison sac that's also attached to other organs inside the bee's body. So after a bee stings you, she'll try to fly away and she will pull and pull and pull, but eventually the stinger will rip away from her body, taking some of her internal organs with it. And sadly, not long after, she's going to die from the injury. And it's because of this huge cost of stinging that a bee needs a really good reason to sting you. If a bee is out foraging for pollen and nectar, the last thing she wants to do is sting you. In fact, she wants nothing to do with you at all. It's only if you pose a threat to her or her 75,000 strong family that she'll go on the attack in defence. So if you wave your arms around trying to swat her away, or you accidentally get too close to the entrance of her hive, then it is much more likely that she will sting you and sacrifice herself in the process. But there is something else that happens when a bee stings, As well as injecting venom through the stinger, she'll also release a special scent into the air. And apparently it smells a little bit like bananas. But this smell works like an alarm and alerts any other bees that smell it that danger is in the area. And this really stirs them up. And because of that, it means that if you get stung once, it's likely that you could end up getting stung 2, 3 or 4 times as the bees all act in defense, sacrificing themselves. So if you do accidentally end up threatening a bee and getting stung, the best thing you can do is just calmly walk away and get inside so you're far away from any other defending bees. Then to get rid of the pain of the sting, the first thing you need to do is get the stinger out, because even without the rest of its body, the poison sac will keep squeezing venom through the stinger for up to 10 minutes. You can get the stinger out by scraping it with your fingernail, and then you could get some ice on it and that will help with the swelling. But the best thing to do is just ask a grown-up to put some sting relief cream on the sting, and that will get rid of any hurting or itching. It might swell up, but it will only last for a day or 2. So a honeybee is only going to sting you if she thinks you're a threat, and it usually works out a lot worse for her than it does for you. So if you do see one buzzing around your garden, then just leave her alone, because she's only interested in tasty pollen and nectar. If you want to learn more about bees, then subscribe for more beekeeping videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!